We'll discuss JMA 2020 January attend paper. This is 9th January morning shift paper. So start with question number 1. It's given for following reaction, A gives product and B gives product. Take reaction 700 Kelvin for A, 500 Kelvin for A with the help of catalyst. It was found that activation energy is decreased by 300 kilojoule in presence of catalyst. So if I assume that without catalyst reaction K is equal to A e raised power minus J by RTA. And in presence of catalyst, the activation energy EA dash is basically EA minus 30. It was decreased by 30 kilojoule per mole is given. But the rate remains unchanged. The activation energy for the catalyzed reaction is, so the rate is same. That means the rate constant for the two processes will be same. And you can see in the question that pre-exponential factor given is same. That means we can take A same for both the processes. So we can write E raised power minus EA by R into T, that is 700 Kelvin. This is equal to E raised power minus EA minus 30 by R into 500. Okay. So now if you equate, it becomes EA by 700 is equal to EA minus 30 by 500. So now simplify this equation and get activation energy EA. And that EA is in absence of catalyst, and in the question it is asked that activation is in presence of catalyst. That means you have to write EA minus 30. Okay. So on solving, we get EA is equal to 105 kilojoule per mole. But in the question it's asked that activation energy in presence of catalyst. So activation energy EA dash in presence of catalyst is actually 30 kilojoule less than this. This is 105 minus 30 is 75 kilojoule per mole. Your answer must be 4 or 3 over here. Is that clear? Because in the question it is asked that the activation energy for catalyzed reaction. So catalyzed reaction activation energy is EA minus 30. Okay. Go to next question. In second question is given complex X as a composition of CrH2O whole 6 ClN has a spin only magnetic moment of 3.83 Bohr megaton. So magnetic moment given to you is magnetic moment is given to you 3.83 Bohr megaton, which confirms number of unpaired electrons is equal to, is equal to 3, because magnetic moment is root over n plus 2 Bohr megaton. If you equate, you will get n is equal to 3. Right? After its event, reacts with AgNO3 to a geometrical isomerism, and the IUPAC name of X is. So first thing we got that it has 3 unpaired electrons, and it even reacts with AgNO3 to shows geometrical isomerism. That means certainly one chloride ion is outside the bracket, and as it shows geometrical isomerism, then the possible formula can be what do you say, CrH2O whole 4 Cl2.Cl. So with this formula, it can show geometrical isomerism. It can give white precipitate with AgNO3. Now you have to just check number of unpaired electrons. So chromium oxygen is 3 plus over here. So electronic configuration will be organ and 3d3. The configuration will be organ 3d3 because 3 unpaired electrons are there. So it is verifying with this formula. And plus the oxygen state is there. So chromium configuration is actually 4s1 3d5. To remove 3 electrons, the configuration will be 3d3. So this confirms that chromium oxygen state is plus 3. With this chloride ion, it will show white precipitate. And with this 4 water and 2 Cl2, it will show geometrical isomerism also. So this can be a possible formula. Right? So this is a possible formula. Then the possible IUPAC name will be tetra aqua dichloride chromium 3 chloride. And if the formula is given CrH2O whole 6, that means 2 water molecules are also there. So the actual possible formula it will write for this complex it must be Cr H2O 4 Cl2 Cl dot 2H2. It must be like this. So you can say N is over here 3. Now the possible formula is tetra aqua dichlorido chromium P chloride dihydrate. So possible answer is 3. Okay. Clear? Now question number 3. In question number 3, it's given the increasing order of basicity for the following intermediates is from weak to strong acid. So now you can see minus charge on carbon is there in all the cases. Now you will see in option number 2, this minus charge is resonance. So this minus charge is stabilized, that means basicity decreases. And this carbon is sp hybridized, and here also this carbon is sp hybridized. So Cn minus surrounding nitrogen is there. So that minus charge is most stable. And out of these, the most unstable carbon will be first one, because due to plus I character of CH3, electron density is increasing on this carbon. So minus charge with carbon, and with the increase of electron density, it becomes most unstable. That means it is strongest base. So basic strength order, if I write, the basic strength order I write, then 1 will be most basic. And with this itself, you can say the answer must be 1. Otherwise, further if I write, then after 1 it will must be 4, because CH3 minus is sp3 hybridized carbon. After that, it must be 2, because there is resonance. But it is sp2 hybridized, so definitely donation capacity will be higher. Then 3 and 5 are sp hybridized, electronegativity will be higher. And in case of 5, when the surrounding nitrogen is there, so that is most electronegative. That means the order will be 3 and 5 to 5. Although with 1 also itself you can get the answer. So answer over here will be 1. Here in Cn minus nitrogen carrying nitrogen being more electronegative, Cn minus carbon minus charge will be more stabilized with sp hybridization and nitrogen. Wherein CH triple bond C minus charge is stabilized by sp hybridization, and with carbon it is you can say more stable than Cn minus. So the activity will be ease of donation of one pair of electron. So most basic will be first one. Okay. Then move to question number 4. Question number 4 is given. Identify A in the following reaction sequence. First, it is given compound A gives positive iodoform test. So you can see for positive iodoform test, we need CH3CO group. This can give positive iodoform test. This can also give positive iodoform test. This can also give positive iodoform test. That means that use of no use in all 4 options, the compound given will definitely show positive iodoform test. And then it is given that it is treated with CH3 and the rear, followed by H plus water, and then concentrated H2SO for heat, and finally ozonolysis. And the ozonolysis product is given. That means before that, the possible alkene you can write. The possible alkene is you can count carbon first. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. Right. So this is one possible form. This one ozonolysis produces this group, and then one CH3 is over here, 2 CH3 are over here. If you do ozonolysis of this compound, जो given compound है वो आपको मिल जाएगा. Okay. And this is formed with the H plus what we say dehydration of alcohol. This compound is formed by dehydration of alcohol, and before that Grignard reagent attack is there. Okay. So now if you see number of carbons over here, so we may say like we need check with number of carbon, then you can easily predict. We need 1 carbon over here, 2 carbon over here. So एक कार्बन तो CH3 की वजह से आ जाएगा, तो उसको कम करके देखें तो हमारे पास जो टोटल कार्बन बेंजीन के अलावा रिक्वायर्ड है, 2 those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. You can see it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon in this compound. In the other compound it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and here it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So either option 2 or option 4 if we must try. Option 2 से लिखना स्टार्ट करते हैं. Option 2 में कृष्णा रिएजेंट से अटैक करेंगे तो CH3 MgBr. तो will undergo 1,2 addition attack on this side. You can get this product. This is the possible format of alcohol after reaction with Grignard followed by water, or you may say H+. And after this it will do dehydration of alcohol. Not even dehydration of alcohol, we will give H+ to alcohol or H2+ will form and carbon. After that electrophilic aromatic substitution. Electrophilic aromatic substitution will lead to this and P. In this order तो वैसे will see this product. तो फिर मैं क्वेश्चन उससे कंफर्म हो गया कि आपका आंसर जो है that is answer must be 2. Okay. Second option 2 is correct. Move to the next question. Next question is given PDFClBr(I2 minus) has n number of geometrical isomers. Then the spin on the magnetic moment and crystal field stabilizing energy of FeCN6 n minus 6 respectively are. तो आपको सबसे पहले geometrical isomers देखने हैं. So you can easily say that 3 geometrical isomers will be there. First F and Cl trans to each other, and F and Br trans to each other, and finally F and I trans to each other. So 3 geometrical isomers, and so n becomes 3 over here, and the compound given is FeCl6 minus. FeCl6 minus means iron is +3 oxygen state here. Its configuration to be organ UD5, Cn minus strong field again, Cn minus strong field again. So further configuration of iron must be this way. T2G3, sorry, T2G5 is 0. This will be the form because Cn minus strong field again. So all electrons will be paired up. So number of unpaired electrons 1. Which means magnetic moment is 1.73 Bohr electron. And my crystal field stabilizing energy will be it becomes minus 0.4 into 5 delta. So minus 2. With this you can write the answer is 1. Answer for this question will be 1. Okay. Now question number 6. Since it is when X melts at low temperature and is a bright conductor of electricity in both liquid and solid state. So a substance is bright conductor in liquid and solid state, that means you need a non-conducting substance. It melts at low temperature means it has lesser melting point. So it should be CCl4. Intermolecular forces will be weak. That means it is low intermolecular forces. Low intermolecular forces. And you can say covalent. So given electricity is not conducted in both liquid and solid state, so the compound must be CCl4, or as per answer it must be 2. Okay. Then question number 7. Question number 7 is given if enthalpy of atomization of Br2 is x kilojoule per mole and bond enthalpy of Br2 is y kilojoule, with the relationship between enthalpy of atomization of Br2 liquid means we are going to convert Br2 liquid into Br2 gaseous form first, and then finally Br2 gaseous form will break into its atoms. Okay. So it is like Br2 liquid will first convert to Br2 gaseous form, and then Br2 gaseous form will break into 2 Br atoms. Okay. So this is actually enthalpy of vaporization first step. This must be enthalpy of vaporization, and this is enthalpy of bond dissociation. And this value is given to you by enthalpy of vaporization plus bond dissociation is given x. So certainly x must be written by. That means your answer must be 1. Is that okay? कौन समझ आए? Br2 लिक्विड से Br2 वेपर बनाने में एक्स्ट्रा एनर्जी जा रही है बॉडी एनर्जी के अलावा, तो इट्स आंसर मस्ट बी ओके. Now question number 8. When the major product Z operate in the following reaction sequences, so NaO2 HCl से reaction करा रहे पहले तो it will form diazonium salt. So we have NH2 and Br with NaNO2 HCl. With NaNO2 HCl it will form diazonium salt. And then it is treated with Cu2Br2. So instead of N2 gas, Br will be appear. So that means your possible compound is this one. After that, we have performed nitration. So group Br2 is orthoparadirecting. These both the groups are orthoparadirecting. So the final product must be this one. NO2 is para with respect to one Br and ortho with respect to another Br. You can see with respect to this Br, this is para position. With respect to this Br, this is ortho position. So that means your final answer must be B. Or sorry, final answer must be 4. So step 1 is diagonal salt formation, and we may say it is Sandler's reaction, Romanov, and finally it is nitration. Here Br is orthoparadirecting. So finally answer must be 4. So move to next question. This is question number 9. In question number 9 is given the acidic, basic, and amphoteric oxides respectively. So generally non-metal oxides are acidic, metallic oxides are basic, and amphoteric oxide can be Al2O3 or zinc oxide. So, as per the question, Cl2O is acidic oxide, CaO and MgO are basic oxides, and Al2O3 is amphoteric oxide, or N2O3 will be acidic oxide. So with this we can write answer 3. Like N2O3, if you add water, will convert to HNO2. It is acidic. And Na2O, if we add water, it will form lithium hydroxide. That is basic. And Al2O3 is amphoteric. Okay. We need acidic, basic, and neutral. So amphoteric oxide is definitely Al2O3. So out of these 3 options will be the answer. Now check the first one. The acidic one is N2O3 only, and MgO and Na2O are basic. So as per the given options, your answer must be C. Okay. And the next question is when the correct order of heat of combustion of the following alkyne is. So for heat of combustion, if number of carbon hydrogen bonds are same, and we'll compare it to the stability. So now you can see with respect to this pi bond, both the groups are trans, and with respect to this pi bond also, both the groups are trans. This is a combination of trans and trans. Now, if you look at the another option with respect to this is the cis geometry. With respect to this, it is trans geometry. It's a combination of trans plus cis. In the last case, you check here also cis, here also cis. So both the geometries are cis. And we all know that trans form is more stable than cis form. Trans form more stable than cis form. Trans form is more stable than cis form. Form is more stable than cis form. It is more stable than heat of combustion will be less. The trans form is more stable, and heat of combustion is inversely proportional to stability. Heat of combustion will be highest for C, then it is B, and finally it is A. So as per the given options, your answer must be 1. So as per the given options, your answer must be 1. Is that okay? Now question number 11. In question number 11, it's given that the d Broglie wavelength of the electron in the fourth orbit, Bohr orbit. So for Bohr orbit, d Broglie wavelength formula is 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. And instead of r, we can write Bohr orbit radius is, let's say, a naught. So a naught into n square by z. You substitute this in the formula, so it is 2 pi a naught into n by z. This is the formula of d Broglie wavelength. Okay. So now for fourth orbit, you have to count. So put n is equal to 4. So it must be 8 pi a naught. Okay. With respect to options, answer is 4. Okay. So a naught has its usual symbolic meaning. Although it must be given in the question that a naught is the Bohr orbit and it is for hydrogen atom. As the question is not given, so we'll consider it for hydrogen atom first. A naught is considered as the Bohr radius, Bohr first orbit radius. So as per the given case, your answer must be 2. And you definitely understand your assumption is that we have done it for hydrogen atom, and A naught is first Bohr orbit radius. A naught is first Bohr orbit radius. This is also in the question because other than that we can't solve this question. Next one is given boron has a higher first ionization enthalpy than beryllium. Consider the following statements. So it's given it is easier to remove 2p electron than 2s electron. So what we'll do first, you write down the configuration. Boron configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p1, and beryllium configuration is 1s2, 2s2. So definitely it is easy to remove electron from 2p. That's why first ionization energy of boron will be less than that of beryllium. Second case it is given 2p electron is boron is more shielded from the nucleus by the inner core of electron than the 2s electron of beryllium. So shielding is basically relevant to inner shell electrons. If you see for p orbital, these 4 electrons will create shielding, whereas for 2s electron, the shielding will be of 1s2 plus 1 electron of 2s, so 3 electrons will shielding. That means shielding of boron is also higher, so electron is easy to remove. Next case is when 2s electron has more penetration power than 2p electron. So definitely you know that p orbital is diffused, so penetration power will be certainly higher for s electrons. Last one is given atomic radius of boron is more than beryllium. This is not correct because left to right the size will decrease. Size of boron is certainly smaller than beryllium. Still, ionization energy of beryllium is more than that of boron. So favorable answers will be A, B, and C. Then that is first, second, and third. First, second, and third are correct options. So if they are correct one, that means your answer must be 4. These are correct options. So our answer must be 4. Yeah. Ionization power of S is more than P because P is more diffuse as compared to S. 2p electron have more shielding because inner shell electrons are more than more in boron than beryllium. And the primary reason is certainly that electron is removed from 2p instead of 2s. 2s is more close to nucleus, so it is difficult to remove the electron from 2s orbital as compared to 2p. Now move to the next question. This is question number 13. 13 question is given the electronic configuration of the bivalent euphorium and trivalent cerium are. So, as per the question, euphorium configuration 63 and Ce 58. These are the two cases. Atomic number of xenon is 54. So after 54, further electrons left are 7. Not 7 even. 54 plus 9 is 63. So here the configuration must be 6s2 and 4f7. Okay. And then cerium configuration, if you write, it is xenon. And then we have 4 electrons. So it must be 6s2 and then 5d1 and 4f. And now the configuration is asked for the bivalent euphorium and trivalent cerium. So valence shell से electron remove कर देंगे. तो हमें EU2 plus configuration लिखना है, तो it is xenon 4s2 वाला electronical times 4f7 and Ce3 plus का configuration लिखेंगे. So 622 electrons are removed and 5d1 electron are removed. So xenon 4f1. With respect to this, your answer must be 4. Okay. Now next question is question number 14. Question number 14 is given if the magnetic moment of dioxide species is 1.73. That means 1 ampere electron. If magnetic moment is 1.73 Bohr magnetron, simply means we have 1 ampere electron. Magnetic moment is 1.73 Bohr magnetron, simply means 1 ampere electron. And if we have 1 ampere electron, then it must be O2 minus. Or you may say it is O2 plus. Because configuration for O2 is sigma 1 s 2, sigma anti-bonding 1 s 2, sigma 2 s 2, sigma anti-bonding 2 s 2, sigma 2p z2, pi 2p x2, pi 2p y2, and then pi anti-bonding 2p xy, and pi anti-bonding 2p y1. So if you remove one electron, still 1 ampere electron will there. And if you add 1 electron, still 1 electron will get ampere. So done for 1 ampere electron, it can be either O2 plus or it can be O2 minus. So with respect to given options, your answer must be 2. Okay. That's question number 15. In question number 15, it's given a chemist has 4 samples of artificial sweetness A, B, C, D. To identify these samples, he performed certain experiments and noted the following observations. So it's given A and D forms both blue or violet coloration with menhydrin. The kinase test of carbon gives positive AgNO3 test and negative Fe4CN6 test. So positive AgNO3 test means chloride confirmed and negative FeCN6 4 minus test means no nitrogen is present. So from here you confirm chloride is present and no nitrogen present. Third test is given designase extract of B and D gives positive sodium nitrochloride test. So positive sodium nitrochloride test means test of sulfur. So that means B and D contains sulfur. B and D contains sulfur. And giving violet color with the menhydrin is test of amino acids. So this is test for amino acids. Now with the given options you have to check. So we have given artificial sweeteners. It is adetane, saccharin, aspartame and sucralose. So aspartame and adetane both contains amino acid linkage. Saccharin contains sulfur and sucralose contains chloride. So the sucralose must be C and compound which gives menhydrin test that must be A and D That means aspartame and alletane. And alletane contains sulfur also. That means D is alletane. So with this answer, if I mark, so compound A over here is aspartame. How do you know? Amino acid से confirm हो रहा है. Compound B is saccharine. Is confirmed by test of sulfur. Compound C contains sucralose, which is confirmed by chloride ion. And compound D is alletane, which contains sulfur. It contains sulfur and it's amino acid also. So if you match with the options, so your answer must be 2. The Menhydrin test of amino acid, Lezardinase test, sodium nitrochloride test is for sulfur, and AgNO3 test is for halides, and negative test for nitrogen is it does not have amino acid linkage, so that confirms saccharine. Okay. Now the next question. Next question is given the KSP of the following dissociation is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 5. Which of the following choice is correct for the mixture of 300 ml of 0.134 lead nitrate and 100 ml 0.1 NaCl? So what you do, you just write down the equation first in the balance form. So when lead nitrate reacts with NaCl, it forms actually sodium nitrate and lead fluoride. It forms actually sodium nitrate and lead fluoride. This is the form. Okay. So lead nitrate case it is 300 ml 0.134 m, and this is given 100 ml of 0.4 m. So if you check number of variables, it comes out to be approx 40, and this one is also 40 approximately. So with this you can say that NaCl must be limiting reagent. Just the best left over is 20 millivolts, and then another one it is PbCl2, which is precipitated out. Okay. So in the solution case, it's given that it is forming PbCl2 along with some Pb2 plus ion. Contains Pb2 plus and PbCl2 ion. That means it is the condition of precipitation. So PbCl2 gets precipitated out. It simply means that Q must be hidden in KSP. Its concentration of Pb2 plus into Cl minus square is greater than the value of KSP. Or it's better if we check it with this option. You first write Q. So value of Q will be concentration of lead plus is 40 upon 400 plus concentration of into concentration of chloride ion square. So chloride ion concentration is again 40 by 400 into its square. So this value comes out to be after solving 10 to the power minus 3. So Q greater than KSP. Because of the given options, your answer must be 1. Okay. Now question number 17. So next question number 17. 17 across triple bond we are adding water with H2SO4 H2SO4 catalyst. So we will get answer CH3 CCH3 and the CH COH double bond CH2 first, which undergoes tautomerization, and will finally lead to CH3 CH CH3 C double bond O CH3. And then we'll add Grignard agent over here, the CH3 CH2 MgBr. So this as a nucleophile will attack on carbonyl carbon, and followed by water will convert to alcohol. So we get CH3 CH3 and COH CH2 CH3 and CH3. Further, it's dehydration of alcohol because concentrated H2SO4 followed by heating is given. So first carbocation will form at a CH3, CH3, C plus CH2, CH2, and CH3. So here total 5 alpha H is there. So hydride shift is possible. So we get CH3, CH3, and it will convert to 6 alpha H base. And finally, it will undergo elimination. And with elimination, we'll get this third as an option. CH3, 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 CH2, CH3. The answer for the question is okay. Now question number 18. In 18th question, given according to the following diagram, A reduces BO2 when the temperature is, so when A reduces BO2 means the intersection point, and you know the reduction process. It's given A reduces BO2 means the reaction must A plus BO2 with B plus AO2. This reaction must be feasible. This reaction must be feasible. That means in this equation, we reverse this equation and add. We reverse this equation and add. Okay. So if we reverse the equation and add, that means the delta G naught value becomes uh, positive in case of VO2. Right. So actual process of reaction is, if I say for this reaction delta G naught and for this reaction delta G2 naught, and this for this reaction delta G naught will be equal to H2 delta G1 naught minus delta G2 naught. And if you want that this value should be negative, you want this value must be negative. Okay. And this value comes out to be negative when uh, as both delta G1 naught and delta G2 naught both are given values negative. So delta G1 naught must be greater than delta G2 naught. That is the requirement. A reduces BO2 to B and B so at the point of intersection, if you highlight the temperature, you can see it's 1400 degree, 1400 degrees Celsius. So after 1400 degrees Celsius, delta G1 naught will be more negative than delta G1 naught. Delta G1 naught will be more negative than delta G2 naught. So delta G naught must be negative. That means this reaction is feasible above temperature 1400 degrees. So T must be greater than 1400 degrees Celsius. That means as per our options, the answer must be 4. Okay. Then question number 19. 19 is the compound that cannot act as oxidizing agent as well as reducing agent. So if oxidation state of the element is highest or lowest, if it is highest, then it can never be a reducing agent, and if it is lowest, then it can never be an oxidizing agent. Okay, so just check the oxide states. So for H2SO3, sulfur oxide state is +4, which is neither highest nor lowest. So its oxidation reduction both is possible. Is +4. In HNO2, the oxide state is +3, which is again higher. It can increase to +5 or decrease till -3. H2O2 oxide state is -1, so it can decrease to -2 or increase to 0. And in case of H3PO4, highest oxide state of phosphorus is +5, which is highest oxide state. That means its further oxidation is not possible. So no oxidation. And the question is asked that compound that cannot act both as oxidizing and reducing agent. So अगर STPO4 का further oxidation नहीं करा सकते, please I would be reducing it. So as per the given option, answer must be. Okay. Then question number 20 is given. Which of the following will produce the highest yield in the Friedel-Crafts reaction? So you know for Friedel-Crafts reaction, either benzene ring or moderately activated ring shows the highest rate. Okay. In Friedel-Crafts reaction, either moderately activated rings or benzene ring shows the highest rate. So you can see the CONH2 group is deactivated. And phenol and NH2 both are activating. In all three cases, Friedel-Crafts reaction is not possible. So highest yield will be with chlorobenzene. Although Cl group is little deactivating because minus I dominates on plus M, but it is basically minus I plus M case. While CONH2 is minus M case. This is the case of minus I plus M. And this is the case of minus M. These are the case of plus M. So moderately activated rings or mildly activated rings can favor this reaction. So highest yield will be with chlorobenzene. As per the given options, the answer must be 1. Is that clear? Then question number 21 is given the hardness of the water sample containing 10 to the power minus 3 m. The hardness of the water sample containing 10 to the power minus 3 m MgSO4 expresses calcium carbonate equivalent in ppm. So you know hardness of water is reported in terms of equivalent amount of calcium carbonate in the ppm scale. So here 10 to the power minus 3 m MgSO4 is there. That means in 1 liter solution we have 10 to the power minus 3 moles of MgSO4. So first we will calculate its amount. And write 10 to the 3 gram of water. We contains 10 to the power minus 3 moles of MgSO4, which you can say equivalent to 10 to the power minus 3 moles of calcium carbonate, which you may say as 0.1 gram of calcium carbonate. So in 10 to the power 6 gram of water, it must be 100 gram of calcium carbonate. So hardness must be 100 ppm. Because hardness is reported in equivalent amount of calcium carbonate on ppm scale. So its answer is 100. Answer is 100. Next question here, the amount of NaCl should be added to 600 gram of water density 1 gram per ml to decrease the freezing point of water by minus 0.2 degrees Celsius. Freezing point depression constant is given. So we have formula delta Tf is equal to 5 times Kf into m. Delta Tf is 0.2, mole per factor is 2, Kf is 2, molarity is let's say x gram NaCl, so 58.5 its molar mass. This was moles of sodium chloride in 600 gram of water. So 1000 gram of water it must be into 1000 by 600. Now here you have to solve value of x. Okay. So this comes out to be 1.7 grams. And the same answer you can report in terms of moles also. So it is up to you. So in the questions here, the amount of NaCl must be. You can report answer either in terms of mass or in terms of moles. So this can also be written as 0.03 moles. So both the answers made correct as per the JEE Mains answer key. So you can write either 1.75 gram or close to that or 0.03 moles. So move to next question, question number 23. In question number 23, it's given the molarity of HNO3 in the sample which has density 1.4 gram per ml and the mass percentage is 63%. So mass percentage is 63%. This simply means that we have 100 gram solution and 63 gram of HNO3. As the density of the solution is given 1.4 gram per ml, so which simply means volume must be mass upon density, it is 100 upon 1.4 ml solution contains 63 by 63 point by 63 moles. Molecular mass of HNO3 is 63. These many moles, so 1000 ml contains as many moles as molarity. So this is 1.4 by 100 into 1000. So that means molarity is 40. So answer for this question is 40. Okay. And the answer for the last question was either 1.75 or you can write 0.03. Depends. If you write your answer in terms of moles, it is 0.03. If you write in terms of mass, it is 1.75 gram. And in this question, question number 23, your answer is 40. Okay. Next is given the mass percentage of nitrogen histamine. So formula for histamine is in this one. Like this. So it contains 3 nitrogen. And if you calculate its molecular weight, it comes out to be 111. If you check first. The molecular weight of histamine is 111. So if I calculate percentage of nitrogen, it will be 42 by 111 into 100. To simplify, it comes out to be 37.8283. Let's see. So expected answer is 37.8 onwards. I answer here first. So you may write its rounded off answer as 37. 37.8. Okay. Then the last question, question number 25. Given 108 gram of silver, molecular weight 108 gram per mole, is deposited at cathode from AgNO3 solution. 108 gram of silver molecular mass is this, deposited at cathode from AgNO3 aqueous solution. By a certain quantity of electricity, the volume of 1 liter of oxygen was produced at 273 Kelvin 1 bar pressure from the water by the same electricity is. So it is like Faraday's second law. 108 gram silver अगर deposit कराना है तो that means we need 1 Faraday charge. So charge required is charge for 1 mole silver deposition is equal to 1 Faraday. And you know with 1 Faraday charge, oxygen deposited will be 0.25 mole because from 4 Faraday, 1 mole of oxygen will be deposited. 4 Faraday deposits 1 mole oxygen. So number of moles of oxygen produced is 0.25. And when we know at 1 bar 273 Kelvin, volume of 1 mole of gas is 22.7 liters. So 0.25 weight of that. So after this, volume of oxygen is 0.25 into 22.7. Simplify करेंगे आपका आंसर. Okay. This is 22.7 into 0.2. So that's 5.67 liters. Answer for this question is 5.675 liters. या राउंड ऑफ करके 5.68 भी कर सकते हैं. We can write 5.68 liters. Okay, this completes your question.